In this episode of Project Super Sport, I got nothing done, and that's okay. Enjoy. Okay, so something I need to do so I can order a part is find out how many times my steering wheel turns lock to lock. And what that means is how many times it turns all the way to the left before it stops, and then how many times it turns right before it stops. So let's get started. Put my little piece of tape here so I can know where I'm at. So let's go all the way to the left. Does not really count. Just go all the way there. Okay, all the way left. There's our piece of tape. So let's go 1, 2, 2.5. Okay, so this makes sense because this is the SS. It's gonna be a more sportier feel. It's gonna want to be more responsive, so it's less turns. The more base model or lower models of this car got a 3.5 turn. And why does that make any kind of difference? Because, well, I have to order a part. I need to make sure I get the right one. So that's what I was told by the parts lady, that I need to find out if I have a 2.5 turn or a 3.5 turn Monte Carlo steering gearbox. So, it's usually open, huh, when I do these videos. Well, here is my steering gearbox right here. Bottom there, you can see it's a little wet, a little residual oil. Top looks greasy, but you know, it's better safe than sorry to change this. Usually this is where maybe some steering play issues will come into effect, but we're pretty sure that it's kind of this and the suspension components itself. So anyways, the issue I'm having is I know it's a 2.5 turn, but a 2.5 turn is extremely hard to find, and you can only get it brand new, which is like 800 bucks. So I'm trying to find a refurbished one, and that's the dilemma I'm facing. I remember I told you I didn't get nothing done today. I'm just gonna talk. Okay, so here are my parts for the car. This is kind of everything we've been accumulating while we haven't been working on the car. I've been ordering parts, ordering, looking for parts, like our timing cover gasket. This is our oil pan gasket. Here's our starter. I think I showed you this. This part right here, it's like called a drag link, part of the suspension. It was one of the harder pieces to find. For some reason, it's just discontinued. So things like this is what halts us in moving forward with the car. One really good example was the oil pump right here. So this, I had to get this from Detroit. They don't make these. It was really difficult to find. So, but I wanted a new one so we had some reliability. It was one of those things. So with all of this coming in, we need to make sure that we have all our parts so that we don't work on the car and get stuck about an hour into it. We want to make sure that we have all the suspension parts, the starter, the flex plate, the oil pump pickup tube, all the gaskets, the suspension, sorry I said that already, but the oils and silicone and things like that, so that when we work on the car, we're making good time and being time efficient. So hopefully here, as you can see, everything's starting to stack up. I'm very close to having all the parts, like this power steering gearbox that I've been fighting to find, so that when we do work on the car next time, we're able to schedule it, everything goes as smooth as possible. We get this car running, and then we can start making videos of us driving and using all these new parts that we put on there. Right? Thanks for staying patient with us. A lot more stuff I'm gonna need. Thanks. I have a big shout out I gotta give to my friend Eddie for hooking it up. Thank you for resurfacing my drums and my rotors. If you can't tell, they look so much better. And for hooking up with all the silicone, grease, Loctite, brake clean. I don't know if you guys know, this is like liquid gold in a can, no joke. So saved me a bunch of time and money by giving me all his spare stuff. So I'm gonna transfer all my, so this is the oil pump with the pickup tube attached. See, nice new clean oil screen. This was a battle. This took me about an hour to do, get in here, and you can see I have some score marks, things like that. I don't have a press, so I had to get creative. I'm hoping that I got this level correct on the depth of how this sits in the oil pan, because I don't want to hit the oil, the bottom of the oil pan, and I also don't want to be too high where anything coming down is hitting it too. So I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on here when I put it up and mock it, and see if I need to adjust it or beat it up or beat it down. So that'll be for another day because my torque wrench is not operating correctly. This right here, you may ask, what is it? Well, this is your rear main cap. This is a thrust bearing in here. I took it off just to inspect it to see our bearing wear. And let me zoom in so you can kind of see what's going on. And there is a little bit of wear there. Nothing that's too concerning, but also I'm not happy with it. But unfortunately, there's not much I can do about this unless I do all the main, all the bearings underneath, which is a bigger project than I care to take on. So the reason I'm gonna say these are okay is because I'm rubbing my finger down here. It's smooth. I can't catch anything with the fingernail. And I started it, it ran fine. Also, what helps me live with this decision is that this is not a high horsepower application, this engine. It's gonna be daily drive, not a daily driver, but kind of a weekend warrior. So we're not taking this to the track, we're not racing it, we're not doing burnouts. Just kind of, we're gonna be driving it. So this will survive. And what we're gonna do to mitigate that is we're gonna upgrade the cooling system to prevent heat and further scarring, as well as we're gonna run a thicker oil in here. And we're gonna run 1540 or 1040 in here. And that way it'll help with the wear. It kind of sucks. I wish we could replace it, but you know, it's just kind of one of those things, you know, just is what it is. So I'll pop under there and show you where I took it off from so you can see it. Stand by. Okay, so we're crawling under the engine bay again. And here is the rear crank, or the rear of the crank, sorry. See this right here? That's where your oil can go through, and this is where the bearing sits right there. The crank itself looks really good. I mean, I don't really see much on it, you know, it looks nice. But, you know, I wish I could replace the bearings. You know, it's just kind of one of those really big projects that if we tackle it, we're going with, like, is it worth the cost? You know what I mean? Anyways, or anywho, here are the other main cap bearings right here. You can see it's smaller than this one because these are the thrust bearings. They take the most abuse, especially the rear one. So I'm sure as we move forward, we'd see better and better wear, you know, but nothing like I said that concerns me. You know, these Chevys, they run pretty good. I would have gotten further on today, but my tool, my torque wrench, decided that it didn't want to work today. And unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck because I don't want to move forward just tightening things down. I want to torque things down. So next time I'm going to borrow my buddy's torque wrench, and hopefully I'll have the bottom and kind of the front end buttoned up on here.